All right, we're doing this. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's pull. All right, everybody, welcome to Granblue Radio. This is episode 278. This is the Final Fantasy XI collab episode, as we mentioned last week. Um, did you actually play any of the story of this one, DJ, or did you leave it alone?
I left it alone for it right now. I'm not. I haven't been so busy, so
The thing for me is that I tend to just wait until the whole thing and then read the whole thing.
yeah,
Um,
that's also a thing that's going on because yeah, we still don't have third skills for certain characters.
so we're gonna get into this really quickly for these characters because they cheat on their third skill and their third skill specifically, and so it's really funny. All right, so Final Fantasy XI. You don't have any connection to that game, right?
I have zero connection to Final Fantasy.
Right. So I played that game for a couple months way back when. Um, I didn't play it long enough to actually care about Final Fantasy XI mode, but I appreciate that it's there. Did you skip through it and just click through and just not realize what happened? Some people did that.
I haven't read it yet, so
Okay, because some people by default, this collab plays the way that Final Fantasy XI did, which is that you only have text. There's no voice in Final Fantasy XI. The only voice in Final Fantasy XI characters comes from Dissidia and the mobile game, which the mobile game for Dissidia specifically.
mm-hmm.
And so yeah, for pure nostalgia value, they're just like, yeah, if you want, if you have your own voice for the character in your head, then do it. Go ahead. And then I played a Taro Taro back in FF11, mostly so I could run up to people's legs and bug them. But
I understand.
my adventurer was a Taro Taro, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens out of there, other than like one throwaway line referring to my character. Because how many times in GBF collab history has there been any kind of like self-insertion, like explicitly?
Mm,
The closest thing I can think
does
of,
Love Live
yeah,
count?
you went the same place I did, where it's like if you're playing as a male character, you will just disappear. If you are playing as a female character, you will appear. We're just saying, like, you can feel free to play Granblue Fantasy the way that you want to play it, but out of respect for the world of Love Live, anything male will just sort of fade into the background and probably cease to exist.
See, they could have went the other route of just not showing Grand's face
Because
ever.
of that one dad, right, in Love Live?
Oh, that's two
It's
dads.
two oh, there's two of them. Got it.
Yeah, Cannon's dad in Superstar.
I
He,
see.
he's the translator, but you only hear about him off screen.
Got it. Um, but yeah, like they went mega all out for references and things like that. Like they sat down with KMR, they did a interview with him, and KMR like rattled off. He knows that story left, right, center. He can read it off of the back of his eyelids, basically. You know,
Hmm.
like Final Fantasy XI was a touchstone for a lot of people. It's the EverQuest of Japan, right? It's the World of Warcraft of Japan for an entire generation of gamers, and
Hmm.
they're paying utmost respect to it in GBF, and I really respect how much work goes into these GBF collabs.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really if you're a Final Fantasy 11 fan, it's really great for you.
yeah,
The collabs, if you're a fan of any of the collabs, it's usually really great for you.
yeah, like even let's see, ever since the early days, past the early days, then the collabs have just gotten way more and more like high effort, high production, just crazy cool.
I mean, remember, like it took them years before we got our free SSRs, and when they were free, we got our free SSRs. Everything became a lot better for collab stuff.
Thank you, Token Ranbu. Token Ranbu was the one that started all of this. So,
Yep.
to all of the Game staffers who worked on Katsugeki Token Ranbu, thank you for really raising the bar. Because they were just like, but we're collabing with another gotcha game, and GG is like he's an SSR in that game. We can't have him as an SR. People will riot, and they're like, yeah, okay, we need to do that. And yeah, so this one is made out of pure love. Like,
KMR was on that stream that other night.
yeah, he was wearing an 18-year-old shirt of his hometown because the thing is that in FF11 there are 3 towns that you can make your hometown,
Mm-hmm.
and he has the T-shirt for his hometown, and he's like, this shirt is 18 years old, and it's like, oh, oh, I see.
It's like Nakamura and his bees towel from like over 20 years ago.
Yeah, right. Like it is one of his old treasures that he keeps around. Like he reps his neighborhood from FF11, and like you can see also a few of the things that they really did in this one by looking at the weapon they did. Like but at least 3 Final Fantasy 11 players have told me that they couldn't get a cracking club in the original game. It was camped to hell, and it was like a gill seller target, right?
I see. Rank 1 prize.
Yeah, and um, they're just like, it took 20 years, but I have a cracking club now. Here it is. I got it in Granblue Fantasy before I got it in Final Fantasy 11. And oh man, this weapon is goofy as hell. Did you watch the
You
video
get
of
the
it?
flavor. I have not watched the video of it. Do you have it on you?
Uh, I do have the video. We can link it in chat. Um, so we'll just do that real quick. But
Did someone get the mythical 8?
I still have not gotten the 8. I've gotten 2, 4, and 6, and that's the weird one where, um, like because of the way that it is programmed, um, the way that it is programmed, it specifically only ever double attacks. So let's go into the trial mode and see if I can make it happen. It's about like a 15-ish% chance of happening, so it's not great, you know?
Oh, the first double attack, by the way.
Yeah. So all right, let's go in. So here's the collab. Here's the Kraken Club. It is a well-known weapon to FF11 players because it was both a meme and also powerful. And so, on Final Fantasy 11, this thing would proc, and you would randomly attack extra times. You would go whack, 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 whack. In this one, it's a CA effect. So, when you CA with it, there is a chance that you then attack either 2, 4, 6, or 8 extra times. And the way that it's programmed is you do your CA, you go down to 0 meter because there is no staff main hand class that has 200 meter.
This is a staff?
This is a staff! It was.
Huh.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
then.
It is not an axe. But so you go down to 0 meter, then you double attack, and you gain 22 meter or 24 if you have Mystic, the Mystic Mastery. If you have any buffs on you, then you will gain those that meter as normal. Like it is a normal ass double attack. You get Chaser on it if you have Chaser. You get if you have like for some reason one hit of Chaser, then you will consume it. If you have like one hit normal attack something or other, then it'll consume it. So it'll double attack for 20 some meter. Then if you get the 4 proc, it'll be a double attack again for the same amount of meter. Then it will double attack, so the dream, which I have not seen recorded yet, is the 8 attack, which would then shoot you up to 96 meter immediately with no buffs.
I like this note. Attack all because you're in a staff class. We'll proc normally.
Mm-hmm.
Charge bar gain up also applies normally for this too because you're just double attacking.
Right.
I like also based on 1500 charge decks, which is a really small number to be honest for sample size that you need.
It is.
They put 1500.
Yeah.
For
so
8. So yeah, it's really
definitely
small.
less than a 1%er. Yeah, the wiki testing, by the way, is taken from the game width testing. Game width is the ones who did 1500. I did 30, and I got like 22226 or something like that. Like, there are some number of twos and fours that I didn't record correctly because it was 4 a.m. But anyway, like, it's really funny. You just go whack, 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 and you're just like,
At least it's a fun weapon.
it is super fun. And it actually directly addresses something that a lot of staff classes run into trouble with, which is this 100 Fists passive. When it is your main weapon, you boost your multi-attack every turn until you take damage.
Each boost is 50% double attack, 5% TA, goes up to 75-25, and will reset if you take damage.
That's really good. Like, I don't know when the last time is that you played a non-monk staff main hand, but those classes don't multi. They're really bad at it. And so this is welcome.
See, there's like Warlock, there's...
And Warlock, most of the time, you're using a dagger for the multi-attack.
Yeah.
There's Sage.
Wait, you're attacking with Sage?
Yeah.
No.
There's Necromancer, which does
you don't want to
have
CA
no
with that half the time.
Right, you don't
no.
want to CA with it, and it does not have problems with multi-attacking. Okay, so that's one. There's Monk that we talked about.
Monk's fine regardless of anything you do.
But anyway, so this is actually pretty solid. Like, you're not going to be using it for anything other than jokes, but being like an early game EX weapon that's really easy to get, this thing's good.
Yeah. This is like one of my favorite MC only effects too.
Yeah. This is just I find no flaws in this. Like, the flavor is perfectly on point. Are you still sad that it's a staff or mad?
I'm just confused.
Oh boy.
It doesn't matter what type of weapon it is to me. I'm just like, what? I can't even put this in our quiz anymore because we know it now.
All right. So, the next thing to talk about then is going to be the characters. Let's start with Lillicet, because Lillicet is a little more, like, I would say explored territory, because she is at least the third wind elf that we've gotten from a collab.
As we hear, voiced by Kato Emery. Nice.
So she can join a front line with Kokoro and Orisa, and I think those are the two elves from other games.
They are.
And all right, so she's a dagger character. She's a dancer specifically. That was her class in Final Fantasy.
But she doesn't have harp?
She does not have harp.
What? Granblue, come on.
I think this was probably a Final Fantasy request, Final Fantasy side.
Yeah, I know, but still.
All right.
My expectations is just dancer equals harp.
That's fair. Okay, so here's the thing. So one of the things that you did in Final Fantasy is something called a skill chain. This is something that you would recognize from, say, your Million Arthurs, where if you do a specific element thing, followed by another specific element thing, followed by another specific element thing, then you would get a special bonus. And there were entire flowcharts for this. It was one of the most complicated things I've ever seen.
Okay.
When you went into a party, it would be this long dance of, okay, so you have a dagger and are this class. I have a sword and this class, and you're just like looking through the list. Okay, so we can do this weapon skill followed by this weapon skill, which will do this burst. Thankfully, they've replicated the flavor without actually bothering with the mechanics. Thank God. So there's something called skill chain on all of these Final Fantasy characters, and so when you have a skill chain at 0, then you hit Thorn Stance to raise it to 1. And Thorn Stance on Lillicet gives her 1 hit of Unchallenged and a boost to crit.
70-30.
It's got a 7-turn cooldown for 1 Unchallenged, which is pretty meh. So All right, sure. Uh,
The magical thing is that this is a yellow skill, so it procs first.
mhm. Then we have yellow. We go from yellow to blue. So on full auto, she will cast this one second. It has charm, which is useful. It has attack down. It's pretty useful.
180 seconds, 25% on a dual stack, so it stacks with mist.
It doesn't stack with mist if it's on
I mean,
dual stack.
it's on the same stack as mist. I
Yeah,
meant.
it stacks with Rain of Arrows. So not very good. However, it's important because it's on a 7-turn cooldown, and when her caster skill chain is 1, it raises her level by 1, so you go from 1 to 2 specifically. So you have to hit Thorn Stance first, then you have to hit Sensual Dance second, which is the way the game will do it for you if you have it on auto. And then when you go from 2 to 3, here's Troop Mayakov Dancer. So 1, she always multi-attacks. 2, she has a boost to her dodge rate.
15% about.
And
standard.
when she does a normal attack at level 3 skill chain, then her skill chain goes to 0. You start over the skill chain, and she casts skill 3. So what you want to do is you hit skill 1, then skill 2, then skill 3, and then the next attack that she does, she'll cast skill 3 again.
So that increases the next number of hits because it's an increase of a casting kit.
Mm-hmm. That said, your payoff is doing a nuke. So this character isn't going to be anything to write home about. She's just
a four hit nuke that hits everybody. It's pretty nice sometimes.
mildly solid, and it activates a lot because she also does it on her CA.
Yeah,
and so
I'm pretty sure when I did my testing with her, her nuke did more damage than her CA.
Yeah, which is common for wind characters. So yeah, like just because these two have a 7-turn cooldown, and this is my level 80 version, so this is as low as they'll go. Every 7 turns, she will get an extra whirling edge, basically, because the whirling edge happens so often between her CA and the actual the whirling edge cooldown being her lowest, then she'll do it a lot.
And also her EMP can sometimes, lower those cooldowns in the first place. Mm-hmm. It's very rare, but it can happen.
It's like a 5%er, I think, is on everybody.
Yep, that's a 5%er.
Yeah. And so, nothing to really write home about. Just she's fun.
And then so I am doing the very fun, stupid build, by the way, with her.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate thing is it requires me to invest in a grid I don't have yet.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because it's having a lot of HP and Skazaha.
Ah, okay.
And also Garrison.
Okay. And then so
I do that right now with Doctor with Fire Skazaha.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it allows me get my shields back, be able to cast the shields again and all that,
mm-hmm.
and also stay alive because of her vivifying waltz. It's a 2,000 heal. That's actually kind of nice, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so this is a pretty well put together kit. It's very synergistic in terms of not synergistic. It's very well sequenced. There's a difference. Like none of her abilities really synergize with each other. I guess the charm synergizes with her want to not get hit, I guess. But the last bit of her is that she does have that little bit of a doctor passive where if somebody is in the red health, then she will heal and clarity your team. So all in all, nothing super special. Usable.
It's fun.
It's fun. And that's what we are looking for in these collab characters, We're moving on to Prishe. So, here's Prishe. She's light melee. Light melee is one of my favorite combinations just because Feather's there, and so is Geisenborger.
And Greya.
Yeah, alright, sure. Yeah. Greya is every team, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll call her melee. Alright, so Prishe... we saw what skill chain does. She also has skill chain, and she has a very bobo style kit where she's just hitting red buttons all the time, as many times as possible with lots of hits. So The first thing to start with is nullifying dropkick. If she CAs, then the very next turn, if her cooldowns are up, she gets to hit them twice. So that part is not full auto friendly because unless you have very specific and exact timings, then a lot of the time she'll CA and then you're like, oh, well, the schools are on cooldown, so let's move on with our lives.
Yeah, she doesn't cheat her cooldown, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine. That's fine.
That's fine. Like, with her
You really
kit...
don't need her cheat her cooldowns, dog.
Yeah, with her kit, one, you don't need to cheat the cooldowns because everything's a 5-turn cooldown. And two, if you're playing on manual, you really, really get rewarded for playing this character manual. So if you actually do a very non-Granblue thing and hold your buttons until she CAs, or, hold your CA until the buttons come back, one or the other, then she gets to cast each of these twice. And so, in order, her skill chain is Uppercut, which is a Dispel and a Nuke.
700k nuke, that's alright, but it's 5 turns and also a Dispel. That's really good.
And so, she can double Dispel. Double Dispels are really nice to have around when you want them and can get them reliably.
You can use this character. You can literally use this character in certain fights.
Yeah, you can use her in everything but Belial, basically.
Yeah.
And that's because Belial specifically punishes the next button she has, which is Knuckle Sandwich, which is light damage to everybody, and then Delay, so she can double delay and double dispel. And then after that, she has an 8-hit nuke.
That's really good in light, Vog.
Yeah, with the Radiant Rene.
Yeah. It says 63k per hit. I don't believe that.
And so, this is the thing. If you've saved her skill chain, so you CA, right? And then you get to go 1, 2, 3, and then when she attacks, she'll get the Asher and Fists, so her skill chain will go to 3. And then, she gets to hit these buttons again. Like, it doesn't activate the skill chain again, but, you had a really good turn. You got 2 dispels, 2 delays, you got freaking 20 hits, I think? Yeah, you got 20 hits of a nuke, and then you hit
more than 20.
And then you hit attack, and you get 28 hits.
Yeah, fortunately enough, it doesn't matter if you're in full auto on the double cast turn, because you only get the
skill
extra
chain
nuke
ones
from a normal attack.
Right. Oh man, this payoff is so cool.
Would tag team let you activate it twice in a turn? I think it would.
I think so, actually. Yeah.
Because that's a normal attack. And you haven't taken your turn yet, so her things aren't forced off cooldown.
I will test that on the 14th.
Oh yeah, because we don't have skill 3s yet.
Yeah. And then she has a refresh on herself, and she has passive take damage and counterattack.
Yeah, that's a good part. Her refresh is whatever. It's 500.
But she counters on taking damage twice a turn. Like.
Kumbira has that, and it's great on Kumbira.
Yeah. I mean, this character doesn't have any way of giving herself hostility up, admittedly. Yeah.
I mean, the other character doesn't actually do anything with her dodge other than just dodge.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look at this unique row. They know exactly what they're doing. They know what they're peddling
skill
here.
Damage.
It's just all skill damage, skill cap, skill cap. All right, Prish. This character
Happy doesn't even want to get that EMP skill
to get dodge and counter. Yeah.
Why would I want dodge and counter? Like I just take damage to get encounter. You know.
I mean, the same kind of things that applied to the Kamaboko Tai, the Kimetsu Tai or whatever, the Kimetsu no Yaiba kids, applies to her. Like they've loaded her kit with things that are useful to you for the entire game. Like having access to short cooldown skill damage is really good early, because skills are the first thing that you do that will cap. Then she hits this point where it's like, well, now the dispel is really good.
Because you're actually fighting things that require hits.
Yeah, or the delay is really good because you're still a little bit in danger, and then you get into like the late game, and double dispel is really good. Double delay is still pretty much fine, and then you get into the late game, and you're just like, I can do 28 hits in a turn, and I can hit 6 buttons in that turn, which is one full um, flowery 7 on its own. You know, I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
there's a lot going on here, and it's good. I like it.
She does not force herself to multi-attack though, so yeah, you have to work on that one.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, and she would have been amazing for light EX plus because she does do an 8-hit nuke after. No, wait, it's not the 8-hit nuke. It is the
No.
part where she counters on taking damage for EX plus.
Yeah. If you don't have Sarah, or
Mm-hmm.
although Sarah also casts a nuke on reactions to a CA, so there's
Yeah.
also that. But
Not
she
really.
also does that. Surprise! Asher and Fist.
Yeah. When it uses a special attack, activate the fists. It's true. This character's good. This character has a lot going for her, and she seems really fun, and we can only hope that Iroha gets that treatment when she comes out tomorrow.
Ah, it's tomorrow? Okay.
She comes out on the 14th, and the 14th is tomorrow
In Japan.
in Japan. But yeah, so there's just a lot of cool, fun stuff in this collab. We haven't even mentioned uh, the summon, largely because the summons in these things tend to be for flavor, like Giyu for Kimetsu no Yaiba, or Captain Katsura in Gintama. They weren't really like meant to be that good. They were meant to be very flavorful and cool and good looking. And
And you can put this one on your home screen too.
yeah, you got Shantoto, and she spams empirical research, which is just
And Toto 2.
yeah. So the thing is that this is also another Final Fantasy XI lore thing, by the way, because this is something called the Trust version of her, and so this is a version of her that you can essentially summon to help your party in specific circumstances. And so once again, they nailed the flavor on it. But
It's a pretty good call. So it's a 1 million call with 20% dark defense down. That's pretty good, actually.
mhm. Yeah, she doesn't have a secret effect on call that I can find so far. So,
Yeah, there's nothing that noted about this.
but yeah, I mean, I'm happy with FF11 as it's been presented to us so far. It's been good. Um, all right. So the only other thing we had to cover today, DJ, because
Yeah.
Iroha doesn't come out until tomorrow, and um, I spoiled who voices Iroha to you because of the notes, but even then, Granblues would have told you if you were paying attention because Granblues during collabs does voice actor jokes.
Oh, I didn't read this Granblues yet.
So 3 Granblues ago, it was Abby because Kato Emery voices Lilith.
Yeah.
2 ago, it was Beatrix because she voices Prishe. And today's, is it today's or is it 3 days ago? Oh wait, there's a new one as of an hour ago, so it's 3 ago. That was Diantha.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. They tend to do the voice actor jokes there and specifically only in there. But
the Dion Cipher.
yep, it's the Dion cipher, which
There's a sword coming out of this Dion Cipher games. It caused a bug.
any theories on what they're giving us with Iroha? I don't theorize because I actually don't know Iroha very well. I
don't know what she does.
I only know what I've been told by Final Fantasy XI players. I don't even know. I know that she's in 14 also, because this entire group world hops, and so they're just like, yeah, they totally can fit in Granblue Fantasy. every single one of them has been to multiple different universes, so they would take it in stride. But Iroha specifically is a time traveler and is your main character's disciple from the future. That's all I know.
I don't know nothing about Final Fantasy, as always.
As for Ulmia, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. This is the first time Ulmia has been voiced, I believe. She was not in any of the Dissidias. But, yeah. So, that's part of it today. Um, the thing is that next week we'll have the quality of life updates that are all happening on the 17th. And then the 14th is also the second half of Mirage Minstrel. Um, and so the other topic that I wanted to talk about a little bit is that real events are starting to happen again, and that's weird. It's a little scary. um, but all right, so
All
we're
right.
Fanime
So,
is in 2 weeks,
correct.
and you are going to that one. But how much are you planning to actually go? Because are you going to be inside the building for multiple things?
Probably not inside the building for that often. I know I'm going to the game tournaments.
Right. So there's a game tournament, and then how many game tournaments have you been to, like post pandemic?
0.
Okay, so this is gonna be like your first in-person tournament, basically.
I went to locals a couple times though. So
Okay, but like the scale of people that we're gonna be seeing at these things is kind of making me nervous. Like, it's been 3 years, and it's like I'm excited to see people again, but so Sunday, May 29th is when we're gathering at Fanime with
mhm.
the cosplay gathering. It's like I'll be one of those people who's just like, are people gonna show up? Like, I don't know these things anymore. Do people remember? Like,
Anime conventions are still getting like filled up a bit right now. Like Sakura, I saw those pictures for SakuraCon. I didn't go,
hmm
but there's still a lot of people going around.
yeah. Thankfully, this gathering is outdoors, so I'm not as nervous about it. But like, I don't know. The thought of going inside a convention center right now is like giving me some severe anxiety. Which,
I'm only going inside just to buy things and then leave.
right. Um, but yeah, and then like that's Fanime. Fanime is what, 30,000 ish people back when it was pre-pandemic times,
And
and
then you're thinking about AX afterwards, huh?
I'm not even just thinking about it. I'm planning for it because Cygames is going to be there. The Cygames pop-up store, the Store pop-up tour. Sorry, let me get the wording right. Is there, and so I'm running the gathering there again now. We signed up for it tonight. Like, this is a sign of the times that it is like what, 8 weeks or so from um from AX to
Even
for
less than that. It's
six.
approximately
It
eight
is
weeks.
7 weeks away, and AX doesn't have a schedule up. We were able to just schedule ourselves for a cosplay gathering at AX today. We're like, oh yeah, yeah, we can get you in the biggest spot. It's fine. They're just like, huh, huh.
I still have no. I just don't know if I'm even gonna go AX or not.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I can afford it, but
You can afford it, but is it worth going to? Right?
no,
Like,
Japan's looking is saying they're opening up. I don't believe it until it actually happens. But
for 20,000 people and they have to be on like very strict guided tours or something like that. Yeah, for the
yeah,
month of June. Oh boy. But, I would feel much more safe in Japan than I would feel in Los Angeles.
that's for dang sure.
I'm not even talking about like some sort of made up crime rate statistic or anything like that. I just feel more comfortable that people in Japan have like my health in mind. Well, their health, and by extension everybody else's health, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Because yeah, they're very aware of how dense their population is there. They're just like, yeah, Let's just put the masks on. Like kids in Japan are just like, yeah, masks are just part of life, so we'll just keep wearing them. Like, bravo.
I mean, people wore it as fashion beforehand too,
Yeah,
or just wore it in general.
yeah. I mean, during flu season, you would just see people on the train wearing masks, and it's to protect yourself and everyone around you because
Yeah,
they're they're dense as hell over there. If one person has the flu, everybody has the flu.
pretty much.
So anyway, um, with all that, I'm I'm signed
See
up
you in
to
Japan.
yeah see you in Japan, but I'll hopefully see people in San Jose and Los Angeles, I guess.
I'm
Like,
also seeing you in like 2 weeks, anyways.
well, yeah, I'm gonna see you in San Jose. Like, that's that's how it's gonna go. But yeah, yeah, it's nerve-wracking thinking about like running events again. Not just because of the usual stress of will anybody show up to my event, but the new wrinkle of will someone show up and be sick? Like that was a
Please
concern.
protect yourself and other people, please.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's
Don't be
rules
an
in
asshole.
place.
If you're sick, don't show up.
Yeah. Well, anyway, um, with that in mind, the Sci Store pop-up tour, we'll figure out what's actually going on with that and report on it as soon as we know. Um, I know that there's going to be just like I'm sure that I'm just going to show up with a big shopping bag and a fistful of cash. But the thought of it is still making me like it's not real yet, you know?
Yeah,
Like I've
that's not.
only
It's
just
not. It's never real until it's actually in front of you.
well, yeah, and it's not real, especially because like I got used to the scale of AX. Like I got just used to how many people go to AX, right? But that hasn't
Yeah,
happened in 3 years. There were 2 dead years in between, and so that scale of person, just that scale of like just crowd, doesn't exist to me anymore.
and
Like,
now we're back.
oh boy, oh boy. Well, anyway, we're
Stay
holding
safe,
those
folks.
events again. Stay healthy, stay safe. Please be considerate to people around you for those same reasons.
And that's why I'm taking a test before I go down.
I mean, yeah, that's why I'm taking tests. I mean, that's why we all should. Well, there's free tests. But anyway, that's me airing out my anxieties for the day. I hope to see people in costumes as usual, like Granblue Fantasy. Can you imagine? Let's see. What are the collabs that we've gotten in the past 3 years since we did
Bo
the?
bo 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 bo.
So let's see here. Let's go to filter characters by tie-in and series tie-in and do it by acquired. Like, let's see what we can accept in. So Final Fantasy's in, Uma Musume's in, Doraemon's in, Gintama. You already mentioned Boba Boba Boba. Well, Kimetsu no Yaiba, also new.
We Shadowverse anime.
No one's gonna wear a Shadowverse anime costume,
I'm
DJ.
gonna show us for you. Anyways,
So, all right,
yeah,
Kimetsu.
Kaede. We can get Kaede now.
Yeah, so Cinderella Girls onward, basically, right? Oh man. We can. All right, you know what? So this is my call to everybody. If you got Kimetsu no Yaiba costumes, they're allowed. Gintama allowed. Doraemon allowed. Uma Musume allowed. Final Fantasy, but only 11 allowed for our gathering.
I understand.
There's a wide umbrella, and we'll see you there. Hopefully. All right, and with that, that's it for this week. We already went over what we're gonna see next week. Um, Do you have any intention of even like bothering to stay up for the FF11 stream that they're going to be doing, DJ?
When is that?
It's gonna be at 1 a.m. tomorrow, our time, I believe.
No, because
Yeah,
Bandai Namco Fest is
yeah,
happening the same time,
right.
so it overlaps with my
Yeah, yeah.
schedule.
So you'll be up, but you won't be watching it because it doesn't matter to you. And
Yeah, I
also,
think it's because there's something I paid for.
yeah, there's also something that yeah you're going to. So, all right, all right. That's 100% fair.
That's all. If the Bandai Namco Fest wasn't happening, I would be watching it. To be honest,
Okay. Well, there
I mean,
there
I
are.
watched the Final Fantasy 11 thing with you. Remember?
Oh, that's true. Although we didn't really pay that much attention to it until like the relevant bits came on.
True. Wait, no, we talked about bugs.
Oh yeah, we talked about MMO bugs. Oh yeah, they talked about like bugs where it's like the meteors just didn't come down, or like things would just
Or it just
fall over and
died
die,
without a meteor coming out,
or the
or
meteor would crash the server. They had so many problems with that meteor spell. Whoo!
look, programming is hard, says someone in tech.
Oh yeah, it's a miracle that video games work at all. Let's go take a look at the Granblue Fantasy Channel videos, the upcoming FF11 one.
Wait, who's the upcoming guest on TV?
The upcoming guest on TV is Ito Kanae again for the rerun of Sturm and Drang: A Mercenary's Life.
Okay. That one's a fun event. If you haven't read it, go read it when the event comes back.
That is a good one. It is definitely a day in the life of Team Rocket, taking L's on purpose for a good cause.
Yeah, they literally do. They're like, oh, I guess we're the bad guys right now, haha.
Oh, you have foiled our attack. Oh, we are defeated. Go home. Everybody go home.
Go home. It's over.
It's over. All right. Anyway, thanks for joining me again, DJ. Thanks
No
for
problem.
joining us.